Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay. Ted Cruz. It's been a hot moment since we've read on Ted Cruz. He is facing a re-election challenge from former NFL player and current U.S. Representative Colin Allred. Allred won the Democratic Senate primary, and now he's gunning after Cruz. And Cruz is on Fox News begging for campaign donations. Apparently, Allred is out fundraising Ted Cruz by a lot. To the point where Cruz had to point out that Allred is out raising what Beto O'Rourke did 3-1. And that, of course, George Soros is in here, and all this out-of-state money is coming in to dethrone Ted Cruz. I'm going to pause for a second because I want to go to Open Secrets. I just want to see what the actual fundraising looks like. Hang on. And we're back. Ted Cruz has $6.5 million in his campaign, according to Open Secrets, as of mid-February. And Colin Allred had $2 million more. So 6.5 versus 8.5 million. Hardly the $100 million he's talking about, but maybe more money's come in since Open Secrets has updated their information. Okay, but Ted's kind of feeling the heat there. And then there's kind of a complicating factor, and that's involves iHeartMedia. Ted Cruz does a show called Verdict with Ted Cruz. And apparently, allegedly, he doesn't get paid for it. He volunteers his time as a host on the podcast and isn't compensated for it. Who said that? A Cruz campaign spokesperson said that. Okay, so yeah, okay, that totally trust them. According to Shanna Portis, a senior legal counsel to the Campaign Legal Center, who was interviewed, the payments raise questions whether it's an unlawful contribution, as federal office holders are barred from soliciting contributions over $5,000. What am I talking about? iHeartRadio made a payment of $630,000, almost $631,000, to a Cruz-affiliated super PAC, Truth and Courage. It's about a third of that PAC's fundraising haul since 2023. The Lose Cruz PAC, a political action committee challenging the senator's reelection, reported that there was a $200,000 transfer between iHeartMedia to Truth and Courage in March. So it looks like, although Ted Cruz is totally working for free, iHeartMedia is sending several $100,000 to Ted Cruz's political action committee, or one that's affiliated with him. Totally not shady. I mean, what, does George Soros own iHeartMedia too? And, he's just doing everything. I have to find a George Soros card in here. Anyways, Ted Cruz. And when asked about that, he got all defensive, pivoted, deflected. All the traits that you learn when you're in politics on how to not answer a question straight. You just deflect and deny and use whataboutisms and stuff like that. What is, Spirit, Ted Cruz? What's the general energy around Ted Cruz these days? Ted Cruz is in a winner-takes-all moment. Well, this is Ted Cruz narcissism through and through and through. He doesn't own anything. I should say he doesn't take accountability or responsibility for anything. Taking a flight to Cancun or Cabo during a hurricane just kind of summed up Ted Cruz. And then he threw his daughters under the bus, of all things. That's just how Ted Cruz is. How does Auntie Lena describe it? He's got a face you would never get tired slapping. Something like that. All right. Ted Cruz is it's kind of a do or die situation for him, and he's recognizing it. and it's involving his job. It's involving Congress. Yeah, and don't forget for a second that he's one of the 10 senators that wasn't going to confirm the electoral count, who protested it. The insurrection and the coup, and we've got Jack Smith coming after Trump, and then he should be going after the co-conspirators. Expect that Ted Cruz is up to his neck in stuff like this. Underneath it all, it's a Two of Wands. It's getting ready, trying to put plans in motion. Ted Cruz, to me, this is like he's seeing the writing on the wall. That he's got to figure out a way to trash his opponent to keep his job. And, he's just the type of person to do something like that. But I do think he is nervous because he's being outraised. And, expect no help from the RNC because all that money goes to Trump. So he's going to have to do it on his own. And he may be finding it difficult. And I'm guessing that's what this is. He's finding it difficult to find sources of revenue to help with his reelection. He was last elected in 2018. He's up for election this year. Let's all send some energy out to Colin Allred, shall we? Some light and moving on. In the past, what do you know? Fundraising. All this fundraising money used to come in to the Republicans, and it was dispensed out. The evil chuckle is, I think a lot of that money was from the NRA, and it was from Russia. Russia sending money to the NRA, and the NRA sending money to the Republican candidates. Well, that income stream is dried up. That's not there anymore. So now Cruz is looking for, where can I get the big bucks? Because all I'm getting are the pittances. He's not getting that much money. And I think when I looked on the Open Secrets, let me confirm it because I still have it open here. I think Ted Cruz, a lot of his money now is coming from small donors. Is that correct? Small individual contributions of less than $200 makes up 46% of his donations, and large individual contributions make up 41%. For Colin Allred, I think it's reversed. Large individuals make 44 and smalls make 42. So Ted Cruz makes most of his money now from small contributions. But there's a problem with that. Donald Trump takes all the oxygen out of the room with the small contributors. Those are his folks, and he wants their money. And if they've got $200 to give, they're not going to give 100 to Trump and 100 to Cruz. Right? They're going to give 200 to Trump and nothing to anybody else because nobody else matters. The MAGA look at GOP senator members and House members as cogs in a they're like wheel cogs in a machine. They're all easily replaceable. Just so long as they support the Trump train, they don't care who's there. They don't care about Ted Cruz. So Ted Cruz is now getting worried that, the big money's not there and the little money's not coming in either. He's in some problems. If this doesn't fix itself, he sees the end of his campaign and the end of his run as a U.S. Senator, and not a moment too soon. And he's, he sees the writing on the wall. I guess he's been in politics long enough to know that with no money, there's no job. And, he's going on Fox News begging for money. That's not a good sign. And he's being rebuffed. As he tries to find that money, he's not finding it. He's being rebuffed. Trump, again, in all of Trump's outrage, takes all the money to pay his legal bills. There's nothing left for any of the other Republicans, no matter how fiercely loyal they've been to Donald Trump. The lesson to be learned is the Queen of Wands. Well, you got to be kind of forward thinking and take your actions how do I want to put this? I just think I think it's Ted Cruz's time. It's time to sort of, collect up your things and get ready to leave, because nothing seems to be changing. Nothing you're doing, no matter how much arrogance you have, isn't going to overcome the fact that without money, your campaign's dead in the water. You're going to be out of government. And then there's going to be that follow-up action of your involvement with January 6th and the actions that you took in support of Donald Trump. Accountability seems to be coming at long last for some of these people. Outcome is the temperance. Now, I started off by saying that he's going to try and find... Is he going to try and find some way to besmirch his opponent? I'm not seeing it. There's no good avenue of attack. That doesn't mean he won't try. He won't try to stir up controversy. But it's like, it's too little too late type of thing. Like, he can come up with something and it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. And when he finally does find something, it's the type of conspiracy that you have to build up over time. And I don't think he's got the time to do it. I'm trying to make sense of this temperance card here. This temperance card could just be that he sees the writing on the wall and it's going to be a slow purification, or just like, he's slowly fading away. Campaign, but he can't undo all the toxicity. Now, if he's going after his opponent, he's got to take action now, but this is a slow detoxification. Temperance is not a fast process. It's a slow process. And Ted Cruz doesn't have time for slow. He has time for fast. And I think anything he tries to concoct, anything poisonous he tries to concoct, doesn't take, because it needs time to blend in and build up. Otherwise, you're just throwing out accusations against the wall and you haven't set the table, as it were. You kind of, for the pool players out there, or you kind of have to set up the table. You have to set up the balls where you want them. Look at how things go, and then systematically go from one to one to one to one, so that you can clear the table. He doesn't have enough time to do that. I think he's in a real world of hurt. Given the energies right now, I want to do a challenge reading. Then I want to follow up on Ted Cruz with January 6th stuff. Because I'm really curious to see if he's going to be held to account for that. But let's bring Colin Allred and Ted Cruz in here. Incumbent on the left. Challenge reading. How are things looking after the elections in November 2024? As we come to like the winter solstice of 2024, if that helps Spirit get a grip on things between the equinox and the winter solstice. How are things looking for Ted Cruz, Colin Allred? What's kind of a key issue between the two of them? Page of Pentacles. Messaging, money, values. Ted Cruz, the Emperor. Hope that's not Putin that's been giving you money. That would be bad. Oh, the drunken hillbilly brawl. Choices to be made. I think this is him as a senator. And messaging about next moves. Leaving. This is... Okay. Got it. This is going to be Ted Cruz, the senator, having to make a choice about messaging. Is he going to fight and say the election was stolen? The election was rigged? I need to lead a coup to stay in my position here? Or is he just going to go quietly into the night? Colin Allred, sitting pretty. 9 of Cups, hopes, wishes, dreams, fulfilled. World card, he's brought it on home. Tower card, things have come crashing down. King of Wands. Okay. I don't think that this is him coming down with this card. I think this is the campaign coming to a rapid close and bringing down the Ted Cruzes of the world. Underneath it all is the burden card. Values and the burden. Doing the heavy lifting on it. Who's going to basically raising money and working hard? Which of these two is going to do it? The guy who's already in the seat or the man that's hungry for it? The Tower, sudden changes. You know, the world's involved. It's bringing closure. King of Wands, taking strong action. Taking strong action to bear the burden would seem to lead to him. For Ted Cruz, it's a decision. Do I fight, cause ruckus and chaos, or do I do a Page of Wands, message about taking action? This guy's taking action. I'm just messaging about taking action. And what people want to see is who's working. If I'm looking for somebody who's working, we have a king versus a page. We've got a major arcana world card getting stuff done versus Five of Wands, which is a transition card. Decisions that need to be made versus change happening quickly and decisively. I think it's going to be a rather decisive victory for Colin Allred. Okay. That's how I'm seeing it. And honestly, it's probably due to, again, his ability to fundraise, his ability to get out there. World card also, I was about to say, and working on women's issues. The Democrats will, they really need to work on their messaging, about women's issues, women's rights, rights of people, how well the economy's done under Biden, the disaster that is the Republican Party. Ted Cruz didn't accept the election results last time. He's an election denier. Why would you put somebody like that in office again? Just all sorts of stuff that you can work on that. Now, to the gossipy, juicy part. Will Ted Cruz, what's the energy, let's go with this one first, around Ted Cruz and the January 6th insurrection in 2020? His involvement and accountability that might be coming for him. What's the general energy around all of this? Again, entertainment purposes only. That was underneath his other reading, right? Two of Wands, got to prepare for stuff. Ted's double dipping here. He's got some things he needs to worry about. Re-election and this. And now he's getting ready. I think basically he may not have been given a target letter, but if he hasn't been, he's expecting one. Getting ready to take some actions. Cross with the Lover's card. Oh, Ted. Oh, my. And Queen of Swords underneath it. That harsh decision that needs to be made. You know what they say about snitches getting stitches? Does Ted Cruz strike you as somebody who would be a snitch? Strike you as somebody who would say or do anything, Five of Swords, to get himself out of trouble, even if it means implicating somebody else to get in trouble? That sound like Ted Cruz? To me, that sounds like Ted Cruz. Have just enough. And what you might ask, well, David, why do you come up with that? Two of Wands is about taking action, looking at the scene out there and trying to figure out what your next move is. The underlying energy is the Queen of Swords. It's harsh, emotionless decisions, black or white decisions. You or me. It's like, if I have to choose between you or me, guess who I'm choosing? I'm choosing me. And the reason why I'm saying there's choices here is the Lover's card. Oftentimes, I represent the Devil card as being people aligning themselves with Donald Trump. You've got the Devil here, and then you've got the man and the woman who have the loose chains around their neck because they volunteered to put themselves in this way. But this is kind of like the opposite of the Devil card. This is the, how do I get myself out of the Devil card? Well, I'll just say that, Satan here, dressed as the snake, tempted me. Yeah. Um, yeah, I was just helping out Donald Trump, but I wasn't the mastermind. I was just helping out because other people planned this out. They asked me for my support and I gave it to them. I was none the wiser. It basically picture Ted Cruz trying to cut a deal to minimize his exposure. No jail time, probation only, house arrest, suspended, that type of thing. Trying to weasel his way out any way he can out of this. No offense to weasels that might be watching this show. In the past, look at these cards that just keep coming up. The Page of Pentacles. We're talking about fundraising, but good Lord, these two cards were in that last reading. I'm also struck by the two people here and the Two of Wands. And then you've got the central person underneath here. There's a two connection here that hopefully I'll be able to piece together by the time I'm done with this spread. But I'm noting the two and the two. Page of Pentacles in the past. This might be an offer of him coming forward with some information as a way to help himself out. Give a little bit of information. I've got more if you like it. I just need to cut me a deal here, right? I can work with the government. I love the government. I'm a two-time senator. Actually, I don't know how long Ted Cruz has been in the Senate. Oh, but back to the fundraising here. I wonder if there's some campaign finance fraud going on with Ted Cruz, because we're talking money again, just like in his campaign. This was the outcome card. This is the thing that's concerning him. There might be a money trail that's linking him with the January 6th coup. There might very well be a money trail here. Current situation is that Six of Coins, the money, charity going forward, having a lot of information, offering crumbs. Again, if he's trying to cut a deal, he might say, I've got this. Let me give you a taste of what I've got. I've got a lot more I'm sitting on. Things of value. This could also be that when he's out fundraising with iHeartRadio and they're making big donations to him, that those donations aren't legal. You've got your legal scales of justice there. It could be, this could be January 6th or this could be campaign finance. Could be both. There's your two again. Two of Cups. Agreements being made. Is this between him and iHeartRadio? And how they're not paying him for volunteering, yet they're donating to his PAC. I think that's part of the problem here. They're going to look at Ted Cruz's relationships here and how money is impacting it. They might also look for January 6th about finances that link Ted Cruz to the coup. The lesson to be learned. Ted Cruz bet on the Trump horse in January, on January 6, 2021. I think I said 2020 before. January 6, 2021. And all eyes are on him because he was only one of 10 senators that called attention to himself. The Six of Wands is about leadership, victory, but it's also about calling attention to yourself in a low vibration. Ted Cruz is not a high vibration person. He's a low vibration person. So his agreements, either again through iHeartRadio or January 6th, his relationships, they've called attention to him. He wasn't low key. He was too much out there. And here comes the sword of justice. If Ted Cruz is lucky, he offers information and he gets a great deal from the government that allows him off the hook. But it moves forward justice. That's the best outcome for Ted Cruz, most likely. And Ted Cruz, again, Queen of Swords, needs to choose the best outcome for Ted Cruz. Again, underneath we've got the Queen of Swords and we have the Sword of Justice with what the Queen is holding. So at the very best, to sum that up, Ted Cruz might have information to offer about January 6th. And in exchange for offering that information to the government, he's going to try and cut himself a sweetheart deal. Or maybe he doesn't have to go to prison. Gets slapped on the hand or a fine or something like that and goes on his way. That's the best thing that can happen to him. Other things could include campaign finance fraud, and that's being revealed about him, as well as his own almost basically a leadership role in the January 6th coup and being held to account for that. I'm more okay with the latter than the former, but I don't get my choices on these things, as we well know. Here's kind of an interesting one. Normally I might ask spiritually, what is Ted Cruz supposed to learn from this? And I may ask that anyways. I'm kind of curious how history is going to remember Ted Cruz. 50 years from now, how are the history books going to remember Ted Cruz? Will they even remember Ted Cruz? That's not a good card. A man of no value who basically tried to throw things out in the cold. Justice, stealing, trying to do something different, foolish. It's going to remember him for his role in January 6th. What he attempted to do the coup and that coup failing. And here's your central card here. Trying to steal that election. Trying to find legal ways around this. New novel legal ways to steal an election that they lost. Ted Cruz is not going to be remembered well. He's going to be remembered more as a traitor to this country and a betrayer of this country than he is some type of uber patriot. Okay. Now, let's end this reading with what's the spiritual lesson for Ted Cruz out of all of this. Ted Cruz is, you think about it, he's out there. Everybody sees him. Even people that don't follow politics closely likely know who Ted Cruz is. You kind of know who they are. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Jim Jordan, the guy, Matt Gaetz, the guys that are in your face all the time. And Ted Cruz is one of those people that's just in your face type of thing. So he wanted the center stage. He's got it. Big lessons for him. What's the big lesson Ted Cruz is supposed to learn from this? Big spiritual lesson Ted Cruz was supposed to learn from this whole deal that he was involved in. Okay, that's the third time this card's come up. This is the Ted Cruz card. Grifting, offering things of value, messaging about things of value, things of little value. It's like he's had this big job that he could have been a king of pentacles and he's merely a page. I think it's about bringing forward values, things of value, and the free will part is how big do you want to do it. I think Sterling Psychic Medium talks about this. Free will is like, you're going to be a healer of people. Are you going to heal like one person? Are you going to heal dozens? Are you going to heal thousands? And your free will tells you how big do you want to go. And he was on a big stage. He could have done big things, and he's just a little man, both in stature, in height, as well as in integrity. He was given great chances, and he's just blown it. This is like in a past, like when he does his life review, he is going to look at this like, I was given such an opportunity to do it, and I screwed this up as badly as I possibly could have. Eight of Cups walking away. Good Lord. This is about as bad as that Trump reading I did this afternoon with regards to his bonding here. Could you find Could you find worse cards? Ted Cruz, the man of values, orders values. When the going gets tough, like in storms, he runs away to safety. He's made people's lives nightmare, including his own. It's all self-inflicted due to his greed, his avarice, all the seven deadly sins. He's done it to himself voluntarily. And if it's not nailed down, he'll steal it. He's a thief. He's a coward. He is a glutton. And he's just this tiny little man that just causes anxiety. Oh. I don't think you're graded on passing or failing life. But if you were, that's about as bad a report card as you're going to come back with. Now, if his whole spiel on this planet was to be that person, well, I guess he's going to get an A+. But if his deal was to come down here and do fantastic, enlightening work, we'll leave it here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for your likes, shares, comments, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so my video makes it out to a wider audience. To folks who just discovered this channel recently or for the first time, welcome. Glad you found us. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.